and action. Jackson, how are you this morning?
Very good, very good. I'm just changing the speaker. That's better. Alrighty, welcome everyone. Morning Minutes, episode 207.
Indeed.
Tightass Tuesdays. Welcome to Domino's. How may I help you? Tightass. Should I be a tightass on my home renovations? That's what this episode is about. Our guidance, what we see people do right, what we see people do wrong in relations to renovations. Mark, what's probably the biggest boo-boo clients do financially, but also just in themselves? You know what you touched on just before about the timing of when you do something?
Yeah, you know how
that's just
I've
like
got
enjoyment. Like,
ladies and gentlemen, I've got to give everyone a tip right now about getting your property looking good for sale. If you're not selling, do it now. And the reason why is the amount of times we get people falling back in love with their home because they've done these beautiful renovations to sell. And they're like, why didn't I just do this 6 months ago and enjoy it for 6 months? Why didn't I do this 2 years ago and enjoy it for 2 years? It's the best investment in your soul, in your family. And I know it's nice being a little bit tight ass, keeping your money in the bank close, but spending it on your home, what a great investment to make money tax-free and to fuel your soul and your family.
100%. Like, you hear it a lot. They've bought a home. They were always going to do the deck renovation. Let's say they couldn't use the deck. They're always going to do the deck renovation. They may have had an extra kid and now that, or whatever it is. And then now they've decided to sell it. And they go, well, we can't sell it like that because it'll just hinder so much of the market. Let's just do it for the sale. And then it clicks in and like, oh man, we lived through that for 2 years and we didn't do it.
Yeah.
And then
I hear that
a lot.
Fucking light bulbs. I'm not talking about 100 grand bloody renovation. I'm talking about just real simple investments in renos, like getting it, like you said, the deck and the painting and light bulbs,
and new carpets,
floorboards and carpets. Have some fun, enjoy, you know.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's always a push.
Yes.
It's never easy. It's never the right time. It's always like, you know, do we really need to do it? Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Invest into your home.
Because there's a lot of little things you could do, which I get the path, Mark, where you don't want to start because you don't know where it's going to end. And we've seen it many times where they start with painting. The next minute they're redoing the floors. The next minute they're redoing, like it never ends. I think it's very important to have just clear, decisive plan of what you're going to do and budget around it, because there's nothing worse, Mark, than when people come to us and they're like, we've done this and this and this and we've spent 100 grand, and you're like, oh, it probably hasn't added any value to the property. I think there's a difference between making it more enjoyable, livable and saleable, but not necessarily adding value, where some people can really screw that up. Because not always with works, Mark, is $1 in, $2 in return. Sometimes it's $1 in just to get the dollar out. But wouldn't you do that a year before you're going to do it and enjoy it?
Good point. And you know what? A big question that we get asked as real estate agents, people want to know, am I spending too much? Am I overcapitalizing? The best advice we can offer today is maximum impact, minimum cost. Don't get caught up in the detail. Focus on the big impact stuff. So, you know, kitchens and bathrooms, expensive, whether they're soft closed doors, whether they're not soft closed doors, it's a hard one. But if you've got to choose to do a reno on your bathroom or to paint and carpet, always I'd be choosing the maximum impact, minimum cost items. Even if the kitchen was really ratty, or the bathroom was really ratty, I'd say, look, still guys, I want you to focus on the maximum impact stuff around you. That's the minimum cost. So when you're doing that and you can enjoy that, That's really powerful. So have a look around your house. Look at things that need to that are looking a bit and you know what, Michael? It's really hard when you're used to seeing something 365 days a year. You actually miss it. You almost
Yeah.
need to get a family friend to come in and say, "Hey, pretend you're going to buy this property. What would you
Yep.
change?" Without, and it hurts. You don't want to hear it. "Oh, I really like that," or "No, like." Ask them,
Yeah.
or get a real estate agent in. Ask them.
Yeah.
And get, agents are for free. It's free advice, which
It's
is
so
pretty
true.
hard to find these days. Ask the agent, say, "Look, I'm going to be selling in 12 to 24 months, but if I could do something now that's going to add value, Mr. Real Estate Agent, from your external eyes, what do you see?" It's
Yeah,
free.
and that's not going to be too expensive or major. Like with the kitchen, for example, a lot of people, or the bathroom, a lot of people won't touch it because you're right. To do it properly is quite expensive, but there are cheaper alternatives. Tile over the tile,
Yep.
painting the cupboards. Like a lot of time, Mark, there's, especially in the older homes, they have beautiful cabinetry, but they just need to be painted over or redone that way, which can be very inexpensive and not disrupt the family, but they really enjoy it. So I think there's little things out there that people could be mindful of and that they're going to enjoy.
A
But
bench,
like
a bench top swap.
yeah,
Two grand,
yes,
2-3 grand for a bench top. Your bench top's been nailed. It's
yep,
ugly. It's ghastly, and you maybe are missing it. But
yep.
swap it around. I've got a great guy. If anyone wants tips on the northern beaches, we've got amazing tradespeople that'll be in and out within a couple of days.
But the worst thing is, Mark, when someone probably has not a knockdown home, but a home that needs a full reno, and then they spend 20 grand just doing a great kitchen. But it's like, really, if someone who's buying this is doing it knowing, one, they're going to knock it down, or two, they're going to do a lot of work to. And if you're doing 80% of the home, you're not afraid to do the extra 20, which could be the kitchen. So
Yeah,
they're paying almost knockdown rates because they don't want to pay the 40 grand full freight that you did for that kitchen. So that's where it could be very important to get an agent through. Like you said, they're free. I get that you may not want to be bombarded with when he's selling, but a lot of agents aren't bad people and they won't be like that. And if you're honest with them and just say, hey, we're staying in this home for another 6 to 24 months, but we watched that Michael and Mark Morning Minutes and they said it would be a good idea to bring you through because I want to do some work to the property because it's not livable now or we're just not happy, but we don't want to overdo it. What do you reckon? And they may, you know what? Just getting the new lighting in here, paint this, and let's have a look under that carpet. Wow, you got great floorboards. Maybe pull them up and polish them and just enjoy that. And it's not going to break the bank and you're not going to be sitting there going, wow, we just did a new kitchen. The guy buying it is knocking it down because I've had that many times and it does break people's heart.
it does. But you know what? You can plug away and look. Normally in a couple, there's one person that will be thrifty, tight ass, and there's one person that'll be a bit more happy to get stuff done, spend
Yeah.
money, loose ass. And what you'll actually find is if you two sit down as a couple, make a wish list, and then say, okay, we're going to do something every 12 weeks, one thing every 12 weeks. You would be shocked after 1 year how different your home's going to be. And it's going to make you money. It's a tax-free investment. Now, if you're investing into things that are smart, because you had a real estate agent through and they've told you what are the smart things to do on your home, if you're investing in things that are smart, it's actually good not to be a tight ass, because for every $1, you'll get another $2 on top of that. You're going to triple your money, guys. If you're doing stuff that's guided by a pro and they're going to a real estate agent in the industry telling you what's going to make money, you're going to spend $1 and you're going to sell that property for $3 more than the dollar that you invested. So it is worth it, and it's a tax-free investment. So the reason why I say that is normally if you go and buy a stock and you put in $1 into a stock and the stock doubles, well, you're going to have to give half to the tax department. Not the case when it's your own home.
Yeah. And another thing I wouldn't mind trying to debunk or raise people's attention is when they do a build and they do believe it's their forever home, I think people need to be very conscious of how much money they put in. We see it a lot where they've built a fortress, they've built it right, they've just, if you could spend 50 cents, they spent $3 because it's their own, they're building it themselves. But things happen and things change. Families get bigger, families get smaller. And then when they come to the market and there's a price there, they're like, but the land, like a land value, say 1.3, I spent 1.5 on a building, you tell me it's 1.8. It's like, yeah, because you don't necessarily get that value back. People we call it overcapitalizing. And I think that
so
is
it's good to be a tight ass.
Yeah, so this is where it's good to be a tight ass because
full brick, brick veneer.
Perfect example. Full brick or brick veneer, because as much as it sounds good, I really don't see the two getting that much difference in pricing, Mark. And like it sounds good. Don't get me wrong when we say it's full brick, but that buyer who asked you if it's full brick, he's still one of the top bidders there. Like it's on so many occasions. But the difference between potentially doing it full brick could be a $700,000 build to maybe 1.2, 1.3, and you may not get that back if you have to sell it within 5 years or 2 years of building. I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes. Like, and you see those homes, they sit on the market for a long time. They are very disappointed. G'day, Rosie Sullivan. Tom Pannis has joined us. Daryl's good to have you on.
Hi,
what
everyone.
We're talking about this morning is being a tight ass when it comes to property renovations, overcapitalizing, but also a big thing people don't
and you
do.
got to, guys, you got to remember maximum impact, minimum cost. That's what I want people to take away from today. Maximum impact, minimum cost. So
brick
it's actually
veneer versus full brick home. Brick veneer, full brick.
You've got to float between the tight ass and the loose ass. You've got to be really smart about this. That's very, very important with property renovations on your home. Super, super, super. Now, Michael, another example, we've got some key clients that we can actually use as an example. And let's use the clients that are terrifically successful with their money when it comes to being tight asses and when it comes to not being tight asses. Now, I'm not going to say any names, but I'm thinking people of two distinct people that are over the age of 60. Fabulously, and I think we're on the same wavelength. And these guys are known for not being frivolous, but when they dish out, they really dish out.
Yeah, and I think there's a bit of I think it's okay. This is probably the best analogy. You get smashed avo and egg 5 days a week, and 7 days a week, or you have tuna and bread 6 days a week, and then you go to what are the high star restaurants, the top 2-hatted, 3-hatted restaurant, and enjoy it. But you don't waste much longer.
Black in the casino, going there tonight with Josh Teslin.
Yes, that would be good to hear.
Fun.
Say hello for me. So it's more, and then in relations to property, we see it where they're not constantly doing little things, or instead of doing, let's just say there's a reno where a lot of people just do patchwork. Patch it up, it'll be good for another 12 months. Patch it up for another 12 months. Where the clients, they probably let it get a little bit too bad. It's almost like you see the sun come out of the patch. Tight ass.
So the successful guys do have that trait in them, yes?
Yes. But then when they fix it, nothing. It's almost like they're redoing it. They're doing it better than you had to. So it's that, and then you never have a problem with it down the track. They do it well. They get multiple quotes, and they hustle those quotes. And I think that's trait. Instead of patching it every 6 months, they may let it go for a year, and then they fix it. They fix it well.
Yep. Well, there is a saying out there saying the poor pay twice, and it goes that way a little bit with a tradesperson with a power tool. You can, if you're a great tradesperson and you're a carpenter and you go out and buy the Bunnings cheapest drill that you can buy, you're going to be replacing that drill probably every 3 months. After a couple of years, it's going to cost you a fortune. But if you go out and buy the quality drill, whatever brand that's going to be, I don't know if it's a Makita or what it is, you're going to find that's going to last you for 5 years. So you're not replacing that item all the time. It's a very common trait we see with successful people in property. When they do it properly. But if they realize that if they're only going to be using something, they'll be a bit of a tight ass with it if they're not using something all the time.
Yeah. And then also, where else? I think that sort of covers a lot of it. Also, what about there's also that balance between, do I buy a knockdown or do I buy a completed home? Where do you think people make that distinction? What do you reckon, Mark, between the knockdown or do you reckon it's more lifestyle? They choose one or the other?
We definitely touched on the topic yesterday, and I'll just quickly repeat if for anyone who missed the show yesterday. You've got to understand where your core strengths are and where you can make money. Because we, as a family, Lisa and I, we always opted to buy something renovated because we wanted to focus on our family and we wanted to focus on our business. As soon as we bought something we had to build, we took our focus away from our business and our focus away from our family. So we didn't want to spread thin in the other two areas. Now, sometimes, fortunately, in a way, we were lucky that because some people, if they focus on their business, they still can't make any more money. Like if you're working as a waitress in a coffee shop, if you work 3 times hard, you're not going to get paid 3 times more. So it's different.
Yeah.
You may be prone to saying, okay, my side business is going to be renovating our family home to make money as well as work in the cafeteria. Do you know what I mean? So it's not one size fits all, with that. But I think today's topic on being a tight ass and not being a tight ass with property renovations, with what people are asking us all the time, should I do it or should I not? What do you reckon the takeouts from today are?
Don't wait till you have to sell or you're out of it. Try and do it before. I think a lot of people live in discomfort with minor things, and they're not waiting because of financial things. They're just waiting because it's almost like it just it's not financial. It's they don't feel like if they're not going to enjoy it forever, what's the point? But there is a point. You're going to have a good year.
Can I dig down on something you just said?
Yeah.
The fear of loss.
Yeah.
People are doing it when they go to sell because they fear that they are not going to get the best price for the property. Do you remember what we talked about the other day? What was it called?
Tom Panels quoted it. It's people fear losing a dollar more. The effect of losing a dollar is greater than the effect of making a dollar. Winning a dollar.
Yeah, it's a much more powerful emotion that you're going to lose $5.
Yep.
A much more powerful emotion than you're going to make $5. Fact.
Yeah.
So people are willing to dig. Yeah. So people are willing to dig down deep in their pocket because of the fear of loss, because of the fear of selling their property for less than what they think it's worth. So they do that bloody property investment. They invest in that renovation. So guys, that's a big one. That's a big one in what we're talking about today. It's a bit of an epiphany because at the end of the day, if you can take that emotion and you can wedge it in 1, 2, or 3 years before you sell the property, you're going to do a better job on the renovation and you're going to do it for less money.
And also when you're living through it or experiencing it, you can pick up all the little things that may be an oversight. You
do a better job.
Yeah, you do a better job. I think that's the take.
I think it's a take. And you know what? That's a really big one.
That epiphany. And I can now see how that applies to
I can see why
everything.
people aren't doing it. So the big lesson, guys and girls, today is pace it, spend some money, pace it, because you're going to bloody do it. You're going to do it in the last 4 weeks of putting your property on the market. It's going to be a heart attack. It's going to be a rush, and you're not going to have the money. So pace it. Do it up. Do it in year 1, 2, and 3 before you're selling. Enjoy your fruits of your labor. You're not going to have the money now. You're not going to have the money 4 weeks before you sell the property.
Yeah.
But you just got to bloody find the money and be a tight ass. Do high impact things that don't cost a lot of money, but don't be a tight ass and not do your property up and sell it in a dilapidated state.
Yep. Perfect. Alrighty, guys, that's the take. Episode 207. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks everyone for watching.
Hey, what about the weather, by the way?
I don't know. I haven't noticed it. Is it good?
Hey, it is. Today is a cracker day. Have we got anyone on here we want to say good day to?
No, I've done it. David Noun, good to have you on. Michael Rembrandt. I know I've still got to pick up that stuff. A couple of weeks.
Hey, mate, tell Michael to drop the stuff down when he's dropping my stuff down.
Yeah, I will.
Doesn't he do door service for you?
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Oh, shitster and Novak. But Michael from Rembrandt,
I'm his favourite.
We want to have him on the show shortly as well. He was telling me some really interesting stuff about retailing.
Well, the episode we did with him was really busy, so it'd be good to have him on after a few more months.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of changes down. I'd love to share with everyone. I find it really interesting.
Alrighty, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
See you, legends. Love you. See ya. Bye.
See you, boy.